Picture this. You've just decapitated a griffin. Its head hits the mud with a wet thump, yellow eyes still twitching. Your silver sword is dripping, your lungs are burning, and your left arm is hanging at an angle that suggests something important inside you is broken. The village elder hands you a pouch, 80 crowns. You don't smile, you can't afford to, because you've already done the math, and the math says you just worked for 6 hours to lose 35 crowns. Welcome to the gig economy of genetic freakery. You're not a hero. You're a contractor in a market designed to bankrupt you. Let's itemize your expenses from this one successful hunt, shall we? The blade oil you coated your sword with, the one specifically engineered to make silver hurt griffins, required milled unicorn horn and drowner brains. You spent 4 hours harvesting those materials from your last 2 jobs. Unpaid prep work. That oil alone cost you 18 crowns in opportunity cost and ingredient value. It'll last for 3 more swings before you need to reapply. Then there's the potion, black blood. You drank it before the fight because griffin talons are venomous, and black blood makes your blood toxic to anything that bites you. Smart, right? Except crafting black blood requires 2 rare monster parts you didn't have, which means you had to take 2 earlier contracts, a drowner nest and a necker infestation, just to gather ingredients. Those contracts paid 15 crowns each. The potion you just consumed is worth 35 crowns in materials. You operated at a loss before the griffin even spread its wings. Your armor is shredded. The griffin's hind claws caught you across the chest during its death throes. Those leather plates aren't decorative, they're alchemically treated to resist piercing damage. Replacing them costs 40 crowns and requires a craftsman who won't spit in your face. You'll find one eventually. Probably. And then there's the medical bill. That talon didn't just scratch you, it punctured your lung. For a human, this is a death sentence. For you, it's a billing problem. Your mutations will keep you conscious and semi-functional for hours while you slowly drown from the inside. Unless you drink a White Rafford's decoction. That'll fix you right up. Cost? 22 crowns. You have to spend it. The alternative is suffocating in slow motion while your enhanced healing seals the wound wrong, leaving you with permanent reduced lung capacity. Oh, and the village? They charged you a mutant tax to enter the city walls. 15 crowns. Non-negotiable. You're saving their children from aerial predators, but your yellow eyes are scary, so that'll be 15 crowns, please. Guards enforced it with crossbows. Let's do the full accounting. 80 crowns earned. Minus 18 for blade oil. Minus 35 for the potion ingredients you already spent. Minus 22 for the healing potion you're about to chug. Minus 15 for the privilege of being tolerated inside city limits. Your profit margin on this contract is negative 10 crowns. You just paid for the honor of nearly dying. And this is a good day. You got paid. Let's rewind to where this started. You were 9 years old. Maybe you were an orphan. Maybe your parents sold you. The details don't matter anymore. What matters is the trial of grasses. They told you it would give you powers. They didn't mention the 7 in 10 fatality rate. They definitely didn't explain the contract you were signing in bone marrow and spinal fluid. You survived. Congratulations. You now have cat eyes that can see in the dark, reflexes 4 times faster than a human, and an immune system that can shrug off most diseases. You also have a metabolism that burns through 6,000 calories a day. That's not a fun fact, that's an operational cost. In medieval economics, that's 10 crowns a day in food, just to maintain baseline functionality, before you factor in injuries, before you account for the potions. Because here's the sick twist. Your mutations didn't make you better. They made you dependent. Your enhanced immune system is so aggressive it attacks normal medicine. You can't take a peasant's fever remedy. You can't use a standard healing salve. You require Witcher-specific potions, crafted from rare ingredients, with monopolistic pricing and 0 generic alternatives. You're locked into a proprietary ecosystem. Your body is the ultimate vendor lock-in. And it gets worse. Your mutations degrade. Without regular maintenance, specifically, quarterly stabilization elixirs that cost 40 crowns each, your enhanced organs start to fail. Your liver, supercharged to filter toxins, will sclerosis within 6 months without chemical support. Your heart, beating at twice normal pressure to supply your enhanced muscles, will give out. You're not self-sustaining. You're subscription-based biology. Let's talk about retirement. You can't. Even if you had money, you still couldn't stop, because your body requires those expensive potions to not shut down. Stop hunting, and you stop affording the chemicals that keep your kidneys functional. 6 months later, you're dead. You're unemployable in any other field. Your resume reads genetically modified child soldier with 0 transferable skills. Villages don't need a guy who can see in the dark and survive monster venom. They need farmers, blacksmiths, bakers. You know how to kill things that aren't supposed to exist. That's it. And you can't even die quickly. Your healing factor, the thing that lets you survive griffin talons and werewolf bites, also means injuries that would kill a human in minutes take you hours. You're biologically locked into consciousness during your own failures. If you get mortally wounded and can't afford a healing potion, you don't get the mercy of shock. You get to experience every second of your organs shutting down in high definition. You are an MLM hun, except the product is your own body and you're both the seller and the consumer. Here's the part that keeps you up at night. You've run the numbers. You're 95 years old chronologically. Biologically, the mutations have kept you at around 45. You've killed approximately 4,000 monsters. Average payout, 85 crowns per kill. Total career earnings, 340,000 crowns. Total expenses, potions, blade oils, armor repairs, food costs at 10 crowns per day for 80 years, medical supplies, bribes to enter cities, the stabilization elixirs, the emergency antidotes, 387,000 crowns. You are 47,000 crowns in debt after 8 decades of work. But here's the real horror. You can't declare bankruptcy. You can't walk away. Because every year you continue is an attempt to break even on the investment made in your childhood. The trial of grasses wasn't a gift. It was a loan you never agreed to, with interest calculated in shattered bones and poison-scarred organs. The math gets worse with age, not better. You're slower now. Injuries take longer to heal. You need more potions. Your operational costs are rising while your contract rates stay flat. Villages don't pay more because you're a veteran. They pay less because you look like a walking corpse and they're scared you'll drop dead before finishing the job. You're trapped in the sunk cost fallacy made flesh. Every morning you wake up and think, maybe this year I break even. You won't. The numbers don't allow it. You'll be doing this when you're 200 years old. If your liver holds out. If you can still grip a sword. If you can afford the next batch of stabilization elixirs. The mutations won't let you age out gracefully. They'll drag you into a 3rd century of operating at a loss, hunting monsters in a body held together by spite and predatory alchemy. You're not a hero. You're not even a tragic figure. You're a case study in exploitative labor practices dressed up as a fantasy power fantasy. You're a loan shark's wet dream, infinite repayment period, collateral that can't die, and a debtor who's biologically incapable of default. The griffin's head is rotting in the mud. The village is celebrating. You pocket the 80 crowns, calculate how many days of food that buys, and start walking to the next contract. Because stopping isn't an option. It never was. The monsters aren't the tragedy. You are. And here's the question nobody wants to answer. If you knew at 9 years old what the math actually looked like if someone had shown you the spreadsheet, would you have chosen the mutations? Or would you have taken your chances as a regular human, with a regular lifespan, and the mercy of being able to quit? You'll never know. They didn't give you the option of informed consent. They just strapped you to a table and made the choice profitable for everyone except you. But you won't stop taking the potions, because maybe next year, you'll break even. You won't.